well, what I'm trying to do is like live. I mean, there's an artistic component and a scientific, intellectual, anthropological component to what I'm doing. Um, and there's a business component, and I have to figure out like how to make an elevator pitch that will elicit interest from people in what I'm doing and encourage them to in potentially assist me or interact with this content I create, or and I've got to figure out how to earn a living. But it's like I've also got to figure out how to earn a living for like other people that I care about. I mean, on some level, I mean, I'm thinking in very abstract terms in regard to this, but this is how my brain computes values and so on. And I mean, it goes back to the fact that like, um, I mean, some of this goes back to like my childhood and having parents that fought over money, almost like as a proxy for like actual things, or it's just like a failure of differentiation of priorities and values and interests. And it's like there's this whole thing. I came up with this term preaching wars yesterday or today, and it's like related to this idea of battle rap, and it's also related to the previous idea from summer of hypocrisy wars, or the spring actually, and it's like preaching wars is a little bit more of a dynamic conceptualization or like lexicalization, whatever, like a string of words to like to discuss what I have in mind. But it's like a lot of times people are just like trying to output, or people want to affect change in the world or make things happen, or a lot of times people just expect things to happen and then they don't happen the way that one assumes they're going to happen. Like someone assumes to get paid for their work, but then they don't get paid, or they assume tenants are going to pay rent, but they don't get it doesn't get paid, or tenants assume landlords will provide certain things, but they don't get them, and then it leads to conflicts. And this whole landlord-tenant thing can be used as a metaphor for like lots of aspects of life. And this also gets into the whole thing of like God and religion. And the fact is, a lot of people, whether it's in terms of God and religion or just in terms of like whatever any worldview a person has, if they come to like trust in a higher power, and then it turns out that the higher power is basically just a bunch of people on Earth, it comes down to like this question of like responsibility and like what's going to happen in this world of information saturation, media integration, and all these things. And it's like, one decision I have to make in terms of recording and creating content is how much to emote and like express like despair and negativity and so on, and how much to express like making fun of things and humor and stuff, and how much to like try to be serious and act like I'm on top of things and I'm gonna do all this stuff. And it's like how much to, I mean, all these different, this is the thing with decision making. Like once a person starts becoming a little bit more conscious of like the decision making process in their psyches and mental contents and the options of like different ways people can play even like a given like conversation, which is something I've kind of begun to learn how to do by recording all this video, and then reflecting on it and kind of thinking like of the actual like cognitive processes and connections and so on in my mind when I'm like making whatever decision. And it's like so there's this new sort of cognitive meme that I've developed where I hit a point where I'm speaking and I'm like, I start to go into this like thing where I say it's like that and like this and like that, and that song Nothing But a G thing comes to mind. And I've already kind of talked through how that happens in the connections a little bit in some previous videos, but it's like now I'm thinking like when that pause occurs, like where that song would kick in, it's like what do you put in that space? It's like I'm talking, and then it's kind of like, or it's like Run DMC has a song, "You Talk Too Much," or Black Eyed Peas has a song, "Shut Up," and it's like these songs all deal with like when a person is like just running at the mouth or whatever, and somebody else is like, "Whoa, stop," or one is just exhausted. One's like output of words to a point where there's nothing else to say. And so then that gets into this concept of like there being a string of like words or a situation or whatever, and then it's like chill till the next episode or until like other events of significance occur. However, in the context of active decision making, in the context of like fighting for your life kind of a scenario, like like this is basically. Dot dot dot. I mean, there with that, it's like there are different branches of like ways I could continue a given conversation, and it's like on YouTube, maybe what I should do at points like that is actually pause the video and have like it's like choose your own next video, and maybe I should try to put that into play. So it's like one thing would be like object, like if you feel like you object to, like I say, I'm fighting for my life, and you're like, no, you're not, Brendan. You are totally not fighting for your life because you're just overthinking things or something, or some simple one-word answer. Keep it simple, and you're no longer fighting for your life. Okay. So then it's like, and this gets into this whole process of like that I've been talking about, thinking about, of like you post a video on YouTube and then you get feedback or you get comments, and a lot of times people have all kinds of comments, and it's like, how do you proactively address all those comments, which may be legitimate, they may be haters, they may be supportive, but it's kind of like people post comments because they have something to say, and it's like if you can proactively kind of assume or figure some of the options that people might come up with when they like post replies or stuff that might go through people's minds when they watch a video, and it's like that can be used in terms of creating interactive technologies.